The house at 31 Welcroft Lane refused to be photographed. No matter how many times Harlan lifted his camera, the pictures always came out wrong. Angles twisted, shadows stretched unnaturally, and the door frames didn't look real. Something about them seemed unfinished, as if they'd been drawn by hand and then abandoned halfway through. The house had been untouched for 46 years. Not abandoned, preserved, as though someone had been waiting for it to be found again. When Harlan inherited the property from an aunt he'd never met, it was like the house had chosen him to walk through its doors. The neighborhood had expanded around it, reshaped itself to ignore it. But when he stood before it, he felt the weight of something pressing against him from behind those dark brick walls. The layout didn't make sense. There were rooms behind rooms, hallways that doubled back on themselves. A stairwell led to a door with no knob, and when he opened it, there was nothing, only the sound of furniture scraping, but no one in sight. It was always there, just out of reach. In the dining room, a long table stood, set for a meal that would never come. Harlan didn't remember setting it, but every time he walked past, more silverware appeared. Once, a goblet filled with something red, shimmering, sat in the middle of the table, reflecting nothing at all. At night, the house made its presence known. The doors, no matter how tightly he shut them, would creak open slowly, just enough to feel wrong. Not in a dramatic way, but in a way that crawled under his skin, and the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. And always, the light, at exactly 6:11 p.m., would slant through the east windows in an angle that didn't fit, casting shadows that stretched too far. Dust hung in the air like it was watching him. Then came the footsteps, above his room, slow, measured. The first time, he went up to check. Nothing. The second night, he heard them again, but this time they followed him as he climbed the stairs. The third night, they synced with his every breath, step for step, inhale for inhale. He turned around, and there was nothing. No one. The footsteps stopped, but he could feel them waiting. It wasn't violent. It wasn't aggressive. The house didn't try to hurt him, not in the way he expected. It simply made itself known. Slowly, intimately. The way water rises around a body without it noticing until the shore is gone. The rooms started shifting, warping as if the house itself was rearranging its bones. Hallways shortened, doors changed places, and sometimes the walls seemed too close in. One afternoon, he spent 2 hours searching for the front door. When he finally found it, it opened into the attic. The attic led to a basement. The house was folding in on itself, pulling him deeper into its maze. And then it started giving him things. A coin on his nightstand, an old ring that felt familiar, a note on his pillow written in a shaky hand. Stay still when the walls shift. He didn't understand. But every night, something changed. Furniture shifted, doors creaked open. The house was learning, adapting to him, pulling him further into its grip. One day, under a loose tile in the kitchen, he found a journal. The pages were blank except for the last one, which read, "I wrote this in the 3rd year. You may be earlier, you may be later. The house counts differently." The words lingered, gnawing at him. He didn't try to leave anymore. He thought he had, once, maybe several times. But every door led deeper in. Every staircase took him further down, until the world outside felt like a distant dream, fading into the fog of time. The house had stopped waiting. It was shaping him, not just preserving him. but reshaping him into something that had always belonged to it. It wasn't just a house, it was something far older, alive in ways that Harlan was just beginning to understand. And as he stood, trapped inside its shifting walls, he realized one thing: there was no leaving now.